this is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Buf Fandemonium presents the K-Gun Report. I'm your host, Jarrod. Joining me tonight, we have Mr. Swank.
Yo.
And Mr. Scott, we'll say.
No.
Welcome to the show, guys. On the tracker below, you'll find some interesting things. Take a look, read along as we're talking, and that's the end of that. So, guys, Buffalo Bills lose to Kansas City Chiefs 38-24 in the AFC Championship game. I'm gonna say it. I know not too many people will probably think I'm crazy, but it was a fun ride.
Wait, not too many people think you're crazy, or people?
Not too many people will agree with me, but it was
okay.
Even though the way it ended, it was a fun ride. You know, I've been telling people for the last 2 or 3 days that in the NFL, if your season continues to go for a while, there's only one team that's going to win it. You know what I mean? And most likely your season will end with a loss. And it is hard to get to that Super Bowl, but we almost got there. And we lost to Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City is going to go to the AFC, be the representative for the AFC, and they're going to take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We'll probably get into that a little bit later. I know we have our opinions on that game, but it was a tough one. We went up 9-0 right away, and you know I was just sitting there, kind of quiet, just watching the game, taking it all in. Getting text messages from friends and stuff saying, "Oh, look, what's going on? What's going on?" And all I could say was, "Relax. You know, this is a long game." And then obviously,
it sure was.
Became a very long game.
Yeah, our three-way chat died within the first half of the game, I believe. And I don't think we really talked a lot to each other after that.
Yeah, I even threw out to these guys that I'm going to go silent for a little bit. So we did. Scott, this is the first playoff game we didn't get to sit with each other and watch the game with. So what was your night like?
It was quiet. I didn't put back as many brouhahas as I thought I would because things got stagnant pretty quick for our Buffalo Bills. It was just, you know, I had conflicting emotions right off the bat. I thought I'd have to wait till the game ended, whether win or lose, and then figure out what the rest of the week would be like. But I was happy. We were up 9-0, obviously. We were excited about that. But when they started scoring, we had no answers. I kind of wasn't that upset. I was yelling at the TV, obviously, but it wasn't like that. I was worse. I was more sad when I was watching them lose to the Titans, and then the Chiefs during the regular season, and then obviously the Hail Murray. I felt like I was more upset during those games than I was losing an AFC Championship game, which is weird to say, but you know we have come a long way. You know, to a wild card loss last year, to an AFC Championship appearance this year against the defending champions, who are running on all cylinders. That team is going to be hard to beat. It really is. They have all the answers. They have all the key players in the key positions, and it was just a different kind of game for me.
How about you, Swank? What was going on in your household?
Push-ups. You know, I don't know. We were jumping up and down with that muff punt. It was great. We had, you know, a couple beers. We made some pizzas, that kind of stuff. It was just Sarah and I. And, you know, here's the thing with it. We haven't been here since I was 10, you know? So, and I remember it quite well from, like, those 4 years. But I don't know. We're Bills fans, right? I've been expecting the bottom to fall out of it ever since it got good, you know.
Right.
And it's a crappy thing. It's a crappy way to think, but you know, we've had 20 some odd years of this. Like, you know, you expect it. The thing with this season is, it didn't happen. Like, the bottom didn't drop out of it. You literally lost to the best, if not second best football team in the NFL on a stage that they were at last year. That, you know, you look at that game, and I told my wife, towards the end, you're like, it looked like the Texans game last year. Like, that's what it reminded me of, except we looked better against a better team, and that was those steps that we needed to take, right? So, like, if last year didn't happen in Houston, we wouldn't have been in the AFC Championship this year because they didn't know what that felt like. Now they know what this feels like, right? And specifically when I say them, I mean mostly Josh Allen, because he's still a young quarterback. He made a crazy leap in year 3. Maybe all these guys that are like, the MVP is a little too much, you know, like for him to be considered as. I was thinking towards the end of that game, like, you know, maybe they're right. That does not mean that he's not legitimately in that conversation and that he didn't have an incredible year 3 and that he didn't grow over these 3 years to be an amazing quarterback. He is an amazing quarterback. He's a top-tier quarterback. Nobody can say dick about that ever again, right? He had a great, great season, and he's consistently been better. But you can see Patrick Mahomes. You can see where his development is in the same system, 1 year more than Josh was, right? They're parallel paths, and they're going to work it out, and they're going to be back. It's the same story as Jim Kelly with the Bengals in '89, right? Like, that was the same story. They didn't know what that process was like. They knew what they were doing. They had it together, and then you get there just within reach, and it's you don't know what you're doing all of a sudden. People got you figured out. You literally have the most games on tape for a season as you can possibly have in the AFC Championship game, right? So it sucked, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. It still wasn't great.
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of written well before the fourth quarter was over. But
we're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, the team's good. They got a solid foundation. There's a couple little holes. I mean, you just can't dismiss what they ended the season 15-4. Is that what the record was?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Ultimately, it was 15-4.
Swank and Jarrod, you want to know the good thing about this? Is that when you're rebuilding a team, and Bills fans, be excited about this, Fandemonium, be excited about this. When you're building a football team, you build a team to make the playoffs, right? And once you make the playoffs a couple times, guess what you can start doing during the draft and free agency? You can start picking up players that are going to help you beat that team that beat you the previous year, right? So you're going to see McDermott and Bean, they have the team to make the AFC Championship. They just need 1 or 2 players now that are going to cover that Kelsey, cover that Tyreek Hill. That you'll see that they're going to focus on that this year. And I know McDermott said something about a rushing game. We'll get to that in a little bit, unless you want me to rant about it real quick. I'll rant about it real quick, Jerry, if you don't mind.
Go, Scott.
You want to know why that 4 defensive line for Kansas City was so successful? Because they went in the game knowing that the Buffalo Bills do not have a run game. They were able to drop back 6-7 defenders at a time, which is hard to pass against. And you tell a defensive end and a defensive tackle to just pin your ears back, do not worry about the run and go get the quarterback. They're going to be a highly successful front four without blitzing. And the fact that the Bills, it's not that I thought about this yesterday. It's not that they want to pass, and they're a very good passing team. It's that they need to pass because they don't have a rush offense. You establish even a little bit of a run offense. You don't think so, Swank? I mean, if you don't establish a little bit of a run offense where that defense has to focus on stopping a run at some point in the game, they're just going to run back pin their ears back and go after the quarterback, and that's going to create hell for them.
So what is more? What is more of a running game? Because the team that just beat you heartedly, they averaged 6 more yards per game than the Bills this year. That's the difference. Like, rushing yards per game is that the Chiefs average 6 more yards per game than the Bills. And the Bills are spoken about as if they have no rushing game. And the Chiefs are spoken about as if they are this well-rounded, amazing team.
Well, it's because they focus on running backs.
Well, yeah, but
if Allen's getting all your rushing yards, then you don't have to worry about it.
So where my thinking goes is, fine, if you want to say Singletary is garbage and our running game went down the tubes when Moss got hurt and he's a rookie and it took him a while to get going, and then you got Yeldon playing in an AFC Championship game. This is all fine and relevant if that's the way you want to go. I still think that Motor is an okay running back. I still think that Moss is going to be a stud secondary kind of, like, you know, he's not going to be your Kamara, but he's going to be a steady, like, goal line bruiser kind of guy. I think that what you saw on this game is not that the running backs for Kansas City just had this amazing night. They were doing sweeps. They were doing motion. They were getting it to their playmakers. What happened to that?
Right, yeah.
Stephon Diggs can't catch a ball because he's getting covered. He ran jet sweeps in Minnesota. We talked about that when he signed to the Buffalo, right? Like, you get your playmakers involved. This is not, to me, a testament to, like, the Bills have zero running game. Their running game is comparable. If you're talking about 6 yards, 6 yards does not determine any game, like, ever, right? You got to be more creative. You have to have the cojones to actually play the game that got you into the AFC Championship, right? And you got wild-eyed Josh, right? He came back out. He started feeling like he had to play hero ball. He was off the mark, blah, blah, blah. What better way? When they ran that sweep to McKenzie, it worked. They picked up a first down. They hadn't ran it in 3 games. You know, this kind of stuff where it's like Walmart Dable, right? He showed up. This is one you want to return because it just doesn't work.
Right.
You know, like, and I'm not trying to get heated, and I think that your point is relevant. It just, to me, it's like the running game is more than handed off to the running backs, and it's more than Josh running. When you see that he is floundering, you have all these other options. Do it. Do what they're doing against you. You know, like, you can put a guy in motion.
This is where you can't keep the pages in the playbook closed.
Yeah.
This is the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Throw something wild in there. I predicted last week that there'd be 2 or more trick plays. The closest thing we came to a trick play was
the jet sweep.
Josh Allen's fake run up for the first down on 4th down, and he threw it to Knox.
And that was a great play.
There was straightforward offense this game, and it was frustrating to watch. It was frustrating to watch our receivers not be able to get open, but that plays in your part, Scott. They had 6 guys back there covering them all. Yeah.
And 3 out of the 4 were hurt when Kenny Stills is sitting in the practice squad running.
Yeah, you made that point earlier today. You were upset that Kenny Stills, but Beasley said that it didn't really play any factor in his gameplay. But you never know. You're right. You have a healthy
3
guy
injuries played a factor.
Around.
They could not get off anybody at all.
Right.
Yo, just to cool it down for a second, Cole Beasley is a beast, an absolute beast. And anybody who talks shit about him and his whole career, and a Dallas fan that's got a problem with him, that dude, he can play until he's 47. I don't care. He is like, you played with a broken fibula, and well, you know, I could still play. Like, his presser after that was insane. And I was thinking, like, oh, when he went and got stretched out, that's when it happened. And then he came back and played a half. That's crazy. That's not 3 weeks.
Yeah, he said that first game
playoff football.
Yeah, the first game he played with it was kind of sore, he said, but then the ones afterwards weren't so much. The fibula isn't a weight-bearing bone, so if it was tibia, it'd be a different story. But I imagine there's a couple players who have played on a broken fibula. But
there's been a handful of players that play on a broken fibula.
That's
but
tough.
When you're a wide receiver that thrives off that quick slant, quick cut stuff, that bone takes a lot of pressure. So he was playing in pain. I mean, it's not like he was playing a position that puts a lot of stress on that particular bone.
Sure.
And he played. He is tough son of a bitch.
Yeah, man. I'm so glad he's on the team, and I'm so glad he said he'll play as long as they'll let him play here. Right. You know, and I think you can get another good couple of years out of him. At least kick the tires on it and let it go. He'll play out his contract, and then, you know, if you're worried about him slowing down, go year to year with him. But, like, let him play, man.
Let him play.
Until he slow. I mean, he had his best season of his career this year.
Yeah.
So
he got robbed out of 1,000 yards.
Yeah. I mean, during the game, I think it was Romo mentioned, and I know how everybody loves Romo, mentioned that Beasley hasn't, this is like the freshest and youngest he's felt in his whole career was playing at 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I hope we have him for a while.
Me too. Yeah, I just wanted to say really quick, obviously there's no giveaway this week. We're kicking it around. And after this show, we're planning on taking 4 weeks off and then coming back with season 2. And we'll get into that later about free agency and draft and all that stuff and what it's going to look like. But I just wanted to say to all you guys that have showed up without a giveaway, that have hung in and on a show after like one of the biggest losses in current Buffalo Bills history, and for commenting and chipping in and following us all year, like, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And it's got to be kind of hard to listen to. It's kind of hard to talk about, right? Like, but we're so glad to have the 24/7 BF fam with us here tonight. So,
and we look forward to season 2. Definitely, we know you guys will be right there with us.
So 24/7 Buf Fandemonium. When we named this page Fandemonium, it was basically crazy fans, not just us 3 crazy guys getting on and talking during the Kagan report, but it's for the fans who watch the game the same as we did, that want to have a conversation with us. And we welcome everything. We think, like Swank said, we think everybody who's been here throughout the whole thing. It's awesome. We appreciate it. Swank, you got any comments yet going on?
Oh yeah, there's people getting in on it. We got some good stuff going on. A lot of like ellipses, a lot of like, hey guys.
Yeah, kind of how we started the show, like, hey guys.
Yeah. We got Alberto Rivera saying keep trusting the process. Poor Eater, man. Eater's been here since day one. He's crushed, cried for 2 days.
Hey Alberto, when they say trust the process, I especially mean that this year with the whole keeping an eye on Bean and McDermott with their drafting and their free agency pickups. You'll see the part they're going to pick up the parts that we need to take that next step. Trust in the processes. I mean, this is only year 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we're all kind of in a little damper mood, but I'm just gonna throw this out there really quick. It might take a little while, but sit back and enjoy. Okay, guys, in the 2020 season, where March it started with a pandemic, we didn't know what was going to go on. Right?
There's a pandemic going on.
Yeah.
Oh.
We were hoping that we'd have a football season ultimately, right? With everything that's going on, we're like, okay, baseball's doing this, basketball's doing this. Is there going to be a football season? We were kind of delayed with the fact that we're not going to have a preseason game. Okay, all right. They're getting everything together so they can have a regular season. Regular season started a week late. Our Buffalo Bills came out and finished the regular season with a 13-3 record. Okay, we won the AFC East champion. First time in 25 years. We went to the AFC Championship game this year. We broke records on offense that we haven't seen since Kelly. We had 60 total TDs. That's a record. 501 points, record. Bass breaks the all-time leading scoring record. Diggs, all-time receiving receptions record. Allen, 29 different kinds of records. During this whole thing, during the Kagan report, we've always said, enjoy the ride, right? And I'm telling you, right from my start, we said, what a ride. And I honestly enjoyed this season, and we accomplished so much. I didn't even list half of them, and it's awesome. Bills fans, you have to be happy with what we got going on. That's all I got to say about that.
Oh yeah, buddy.
We had half an hour left of the show. I thought you were going to take the rest of it.
No.
I was gonna sneak off and grab my guitar and just play like this sombering music. Like,
no, you're right, and it was a crazy year. And the fact that they were able to play all the games with a couple blips here and there with other teams. Even the Bills got thrown in there with the Tennessee Titan game, but. That's the thing, is at least we got to play a full season, a full set of playoffs, and we get to watch a Super Bowl. So that's a lot more than what a lot of people expected 4 weeks before the season even started. So We're lucky to have that. And you know what? That's the thing, too. It's not like there was a lot of people that opted out and all that stuff. Our Buffalo Bills played 99% of the starters on each team. So it was a legit 13-3 record, a legit AFC East championship, and a legit run to the AFC championship game. So, no, that's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, I must also say quickly that Monday when I woke up, it was the first cloudy day I've seen all year, I think. Just the mindset and the mentality and mental health of the Buffalo Bills winning made this whole past year worth it. You know what I mean? So there's that aspect of it too.
Yeah, it was a
pretty
sweet
cloudy.
distraction, man. It was a really good distraction. I like. It was like the first Monday in a while that I didn't like find a podcast to like a Bills podcast or
Right.
WGR or like listen to us from the week before or whatever to try and like get hyped up about the week coming up or listen. We had 15 weeks of being able to listen to radio the next day and it was all good stuff, So yeah, it was a really really sweet distraction from all the craziness that's been going on in the world, and it's still The only positive about it is that like I won't have a heart attack in a week and a half.
Right.
All our blood pressures can go back down.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, dude. I was telling Scott that like the last couple of days, like I started taking like this vitamin regimen and like started feeling really good, and like maybe you're onto something with that, dude. That like
Yeah, everyone's blood pressure dropped a couple points after that loss. All right, guys. Should we say goodbye to the 2020 season?
We have to.
All right. You know what's next?
Cheers. Well, let's do a cheers thing real quick.
Hey, man.
Good season. Great
season, guys. Great season with you
Clinkety-clink.
dudes.
Clink.
Yo, Dan Alonji says, well done, gentlemen. I predict a future platform expansion to MySpace next year.
Ooh, if Tom doesn't regulate us.
Nice.
I told him to add us on AIM.
Hey, I was just going to say, is Instant Messenger on this at all?
So what are we going to talk about now, Joe? We're just going to throw some stuff out there?
Oh, yeah. We can. What we can do is take any question anybody's got to ask in the comments. That'd be cool to talk to.
I think we actually had a couple. We had one here. Maybe not exactly a question, but a nice topic. It was about us cutting. Chris Christian says, I think we may let Smoke go. What do you guys think about that?
I agree 110%.
Is that,
I think our offense did a lot better without him.
Yeah.
Really?
I think they did, with Gabe Davis taking the snaps, and I think Smoke has lost a step. And if you saw some of the pickups and reservations for future contracts, they did sign that Gentry kid that played football with Allen in Wyoming. I didn't realize he runs a 4.4 40, and he caught a lot of passes from Josh Allen in college. So who knows what they're doing with that?
He looks like he's kind of a similar build to like a Wes Welker.
He's
Right
6'1".
there.
He's 6'1",
Oh, he's
210
6'1"?
pounds.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a big
Jesus.
boy. Oh yeah,
Wow.
he's big.
I only saw him standing next to Josh, so.
Well, that doesn't say much. But his combine things, they were surprised he never got drafted
Really?
because he does run a 4.4. He does go deep. He catches a deep ball. He's able to catch one-handed sideline catches. His knock was that he had a hard time getting off the press, but I think the NFL will change that from him. I mean,
Put him in
6'1",
motion.
110 pounds, you should be able to get off that press fine. But
Well-
John Brown, I do think he's gone. I do.
It's sad,
Yeah.
man. I really like Smoke. It sucked that he couldn't stay healthy this year. I would have really. I don't think that we actually saw those three guys at their best all at the same time on the field, including Josh, because he had that shoulder issue for a little while, and it's a bummer. It was supposed to light up the world, and I mean I'm not wagging my finger at Diggs and Bees and Davis. I think that's great. We also have Isaiah Hodgins that's coming back. Like they're. And they did a future contract with Kumaro too.
Kumaro,
So-
yep. Reserved future contract.
So there's a lot of prospects. I think
You got to be
let's-
excited about Isaiah Hodgins. Thanks for bringing him up. You
Yeah.
have to be excited about him. He's a big-bodied receiver that can jump, long frame. He's a red zone receiver definitely. And the Bills, they were excited about him before he had to go out and have surgery. So
Yeah.
you can't forget about him.
No. Yeah, like Swank was alluding to or talking about earlier, John Brown's going to be missed. I feel like anybody else, like Swank, especially if he was there the whole season, this would have been, a higher, more potent offense. I feel when he was in there earlier, there's no doubt about his, belonging on the team and his place on that team. But that injury definitely set him back quite a bit. And I don't know why they didn't really get him involved later on, especially in the postseason. Against the Ravens, he had 8 catches for 65 yards or something like that, or 6 catches for 65 yards, but he never really got going. So
I think
he was a
still
heck of a
banged up.
player. But
So do I.
if he's on, it's one of those things. If he's on the team, then good.
Yeah.
You gotta trust the process. But Yeah, John Brown probably won't be here next year. I
There's
agree with you
another.
there.
We got another topic going on back and forth about Milano.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
That's a great one.
Chris is saying that Milano will probably get priced out past our limits. Mike Voigt saying we can't lose Milano. He was a big piece of the defense. I agree, man. I think Milano Edmonds, and Edmonds was catching a bunch of junk after this last game here. To the point where I heard people saying, like, I didn't even see him on the field, like he wasn't making plays. And I think he was making plays. I think, I don't know what combination you thought you were going to have out there that was going to do better.
Right.
They're not on the roster if you really think that Edmonds and Milano, and Klein was out there for a while too and whatever. It's just a different beast, man. You're talking, like I said, a four-year rooted offense with Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes at the quarterback, with the fastest guy in the NFL, the best tight end in the NFL, some young receivers that are, you might not remember their name right off the top of your head, but Harding's making a lot of plays, there's a lot there. We didn't talk about one thing with the KC game, and I kind of want to talk about it. KC is a team that I always rooted for. I like Patrick Mahomes. I still like Patrick Mahomes. They played like a bunch of dirt balls. And I'm not saying that any of it had any factor on the game whatsoever. I wish that big scrummel would have happened in the beginning of the game when Feliciano got punched in the helmet. That's when it should have happened.
I lost my mind when that happened.
Jones should have been ejected from the game. And again, I'm not saying that it would have changed anything with the outcome. I'm just saying that is not the way, like the let it play mentality that apparently they're doing in the playoffs for certain teams. There's a let it play mentality. Seemed like they were a lot quicker to throw flags for us than they were to throw flags against us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, when Diggs got picked up and slammed down, they even said that Diggs had to beg for the penalty.
Yeah, he did.
But as soon as Josh Allen threw the ball 1 yard short of the line of scrimmage when he's getting hammered and rolling out, that flag was out before the ball even hit the ground for an intentional grounding.
How about that big brawl, right? Like, everybody, Josh threw the ball his face mask, which he shouldn't have done it. Did I think it was awesome? Yes, I absolutely thought it was awesome because the dude threw him down through the whistle. Like, that was the problem. The problem was that he didn't stop, right?
Yeah.
And you're supposed to be protecting quarterbacks, but apparently if you're Josh Allen, that does not apply to you. So
now I just watched the game. I haven't watched any extra film, but from what I remember, Swank, on that play, the individual who came out and threw Allen to the ground wasn't the guy who had his hands on him when the whistle was being blown. It was a different guy, wasn't it?
No, it was the same guy.
Was it the same
guy?
guy?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was that linebacker because when he slammed him down, then Josh popped the ball into his face mask, right? So then there's this whole miscommunication. Everything escalated because now this dude's posturing over top of Josh Allen, and you got Mongo Feliciano and Deion Dawkins, and then they're not going to play that bullshit, So Feliciano went over there and racked him in his chest, and then he fell down, and Deion was standing over top of him, and you got this one pushing that one, and this happening with this. And everybody will blame Josh Allen for it, and I'm telling you, man, they should have called a penalty on that dude. The game was over by that point anyway.
Yeah.
But they should have called a penalty on that dude for throwing him to the ground the way they did after the whistle. They were playing fast and loose, and I don't understand on calls like that, playing like that. I get like wide receiver, cornerback, little holding, little pass interference stuff, like that chippy shit down on the other end, fine. But when it comes to protecting a quarterback in somebody's franchise, I've seen Thomas Brady get grazed slightly in the face mask and get a 15-yarder for that. I think there's a double standard, and I think that this feels like they wanted a certain Super Bowl. It felt like that in the other game too, with the Green Bay game, right?
What better Super Bowl to have than to have the old man passing the torch on to the young buck?
Yep.
I'm not saying
you're going with that. The defensive,
I'm not saying either or,
pass
but
interference that was not called at all for the other games, and that was the key. That determined the end of the game. That determined the end of the game at the end of the game. Crazy.
Dan Alonji says Gordner just got a Dwayne Haskins signed jersey from Kmart put on layaway.
Hey, You gotta do what you gotta do. Dwayne Haskins. I don't know. I don't. Did you guys see the schedule for next year yet?
Yeah. Well, just the aways and homes. They don't have the schedule made yet, right?
So I saw a lot of people complaining because we have another tough schedule. Just so anybody who watches this knows, the way the NFL picks the schedule is if you finish first in your division, you play the first place positions in each division in the AFC. You play a whole division within the AFC, but the other 2 games are against top-notch teams. In the NFC, you're going to play all 4 teams. So you're going to get 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you finish first place in your respective division, next year is going to be a hard season. That's just how it is.
Yep.
Just how it is. So
that's fine.
Yeah. If Kansas City, I messaged you guys this earlier. If Kansas City wins the Super Bowl, do you guys see that Thursday night home opener or season opener, Bills versus KC?
Makes sense.
Sure. I don't
Sure. And you guys want to go to the game?
Nope.
Yeah, right. No. I'm good. I don't need to travel down there.
Well, no, I mean, if it was home, we'd be gone, right? But
yeah, I don't know. I mean, after all this and the whole year we've had and the pandemic and everything, I don't know if I want to go to the home opener unless I have some insider, like, Shylock Mafia information that the Bills are going to win.
Right.
I mean, so going back to the whole thing, like, dirty, man. They're playing dirty. And I lost a lot of respect for a team that I had a lot of respect for. And kind of, I don't want to say Andy Reid, definitely the defensive coordinator, you know, and you want to play with heart and you want to play passion, you want to be tough. The Bills do that. And they don't play dirty.
Yeah, they play clean.
So, I don't know.
Who's their defensive coordinator? Spagnola? Was it
I don't
Spagnola?
No idea. He looks like Pete Carroll's, like, illegitimate half kid or something.
Yeah, Steve Spagnolia, whatever like that. But yeah, it was just sad to see the cheapness at the beginning of the game and them get away with it, and then to continue on through the game. It kind of was a downer because I feel the same way about the Chiefs. With Andy Reid, you think they're that team that you're rooting for because they do play by the rules. They play smart. They play passionate, but they're not cheap. And then you see a game like that.
Yeah.
From what I saw on the Bills side, it was all reactive. So, and you have to be reactive when someone's standing over your quarterback taunting them.
Oh hell yeah!
One other thing about that, and then let's never talk about this game ever again. Jones, after the game, tweeted out, "Do you think Bills Mafia will still donate to Patrick Mahomes' charity after the game?" And it was like mocking the Bill, and there was like a whole lot of responses from like people in Bills Mafia being like, "Why would we like not?" Like, you know, like, well, why are you trying to make fun of us for being charitable? Like, so you make fun of us if we jump through tables. You make fun of us if we get ketchup and mustard squirted all over us. You make fun of us because we have a losing team for all these years. And now we've literally, like, set the standard for what fan bases should be in the NFL, above and beyond, raised $2 million for charities in just the last year alone. And you're going to make fun of us for doing that after you beat us. Yeah. And you should have been ejected from the game, which is exactly what I wrote on there, is that you should have been ejected from the game after the first quarter. But
stay classy, asshole.
Here's another thing. So the NFL watches these games back through, right? Obviously, it was a statement was made because they showed a replay of Feliciano getting hit by Jones, right? So if the league goes through and they see these cheap shots, how does it carry over to the Super Bowl, if it does at all?
I think Tom Brady's going to be protected. I think Patrick Mahomes is probably also going to be protected. That's going to make it rough for KC's defense. I think this is going to be the shootout everybody's been waiting for all season.
Yeah, me too.
You know, it should be. I mean, I don't know. For the way everything played out, if they're not throwing bombs and doing all that, you know what else pisses me off about the Super Bowl, dude? Antonio Brown makes a Super Bowl.
and Le'Veon Bell. Le'Veon Bell. I mean.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell. Which I don't have quite as much of a problem with Le'Veon Bell, the way he did it. Antonio Brown, though, just like puddle jump and like be crazy and talk crap and miss half the season, and then now you're on I almost dropped this huge F-bomb right there. Now you're on the Super Bowl, like the first time a team's ever been the home team for the Super Bowl.
Weird, huh?
Yeah, weird. Crazy how that all works out.
So my decision for the picking whoever I wanted to win the Super Bowl was based on at first I wanted Kansas City because I was like, why would you want to root for Antonio Brown? Why would you want to root for Brady for another one? Why would you want to root for Fournette, who shouldn't even be in the league anymore because of his shenanigans? There's a lot of players on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that I'm not a big fan of. But
yeah, me too. Sue.
After Sunday, now it's like, okay, now you got cheap shot guys. You got people throwing punches. I wanted to pick a team that was more, that played by the rules, that didn't have a bunch of bullies or,
like
clowns on their team. Right. And now it's like torn. But I don't want Brady to win, so I'm going for Kansas City.
I have a question.
You keep the Lombardi in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for everybody in the comments and for you guys. And I'm not bitter. I don't think I'm even going to watch a game. Like, I really don't. And a lot of it has to do with, like, I always usually have a team that I lean towards, and I just don't this time. I know AFC Lombardi and the AFC, fine. The AFC's loaded for, like, the next 10 or 15 years, I think. I don't think the NFC's got any heat to try and challenge. It's going to be like that 90s reign that they had. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you guys going to watch the game, though?
I still don't know.
Really?
I don't know. I got a couple squares on them, but I can't keep track of that stuff.
I have no rooting interest. I have no gambling interests. I have no love for Brady. There's people that are like, I'm rooting for Brady. Like diehard Bills fans that have hated Brady forever. They're like, I'm going to root for Brady. I'm going to root for the Bucs. I'm like, I don't want him to have something else. Now he's going to be the only quarterback in the history of the league to host and win a Super Bowl game. Like, how many records does this asshole need, dude? I hate him. I'm so sick of him. Like, and how is he throwing the ball farther than he's ever thrown it in his whole career? How is that happening? Do you guys throw a ball as far as you ever, like as far as you did when you were 19? Like, how is that happening? Dude's on Roy. That TB12 shit is not that good, dude. It is not that good.
So true.
Those plays, that's a thing you have to question too before the half. Instead of calling a time or kicking a field goal, they go for it on, with 6 yards to go and they throw a touchdown pass down the sideline. How does the defense not see that coming? Also, that pass interference. How many times do we see it? And I don't know, you can play your percentages or whatever, but it seems like whenever Brady needs a fourth down, he's going to get a pass interference call. Yes. Whenever he's on a final drive, what does Brady do? He just chucks it up when he's about to get hit. Pass interference call. It's like, how many of these have we seen over the last 20 years? Mm-hmm. And I know he can still sling it, but he's getting a lot of calls, and it's just frustrating.
I'll bet on this, like, lowest rated Super Bowl in the last 10 years is what I'm going to guess. Even though it's like two hot teams, it's two hot quarterbacks, dude. I'm just so sick. So sick of Tom Brady. And right now, like I said, I mean, I really don't want to sound like I'm super bitter. And like we didn't deserve to win that game. We didn't play well enough. That's it. And I wish we would have. It'll be different next year. Fine. But that's not it. It's just the way that it was won. It's the way it was handled. It's all that I just don't have any interest. Like zero. Hey, your laundry's done. We got Josh Cook is saying he probably won't watch it either. Sarah Krume wants both teams to lose.
Hey guys, I got a question for you.
Break each other's legs and they have to forfeit the game.
Yeah.
Hey guys, commenting and listening and watching. Everybody watching. I'm not going to play that. You got to marry one, kill one, and do whatever to the other one. But we have quite a bit of money in our defensive ends. A lot of money in our defensive ends with Addison, Hughes, and Trent Murphy. How many are they going to keep for the next year? Who should they get? Is 10 sacks between Addison and Hughes worth the money that they're holding in the cap space right now?
Right.
I guess and
Murphy was situation. Right, Murphy was situational. They brought him in for the Ravens. Perfect defense and scheme with him in there, but that was just one game.
Oh, dude, Murphy's gone. Like,
Yeah.
he's got to be gone. I know we said it pretty
Murphy's
certainly
contract is
last
up.
year, but he's gone. They're not.
Yeah,
gonna-
Murphy's contract is up, but Hughes and Addison still have a couple years. I know there's some dead space that's going to be involved with the cap, but there will be some cap space added. So is it time to get rid of those guys, or do you think they'll structure a new deal so we can?
I get rid of every other end besides those two and Epinesa. I mean, they're the only two productive ones, you know.
Right.
What do
Epinesa
you
was,
do?
But that's the question: is 10 sacks between the two and all that money worth it?
I don't know. I think that you need to tweak the defense to be able to do something. I mean, so their whole deal is that they're small and they're fast, right?
Right. Yep.
I expected Eddie Oliver to have like the season of his, like this was going to be the season.
yeah.
He performed a little lackluster, and every time his name was called, he was in there, you know, and it's like he's almost there. And I want him to succeed, so I'm hoping that next year is the year, right? That he's like that guy that everybody's like, oh, here he is, like he's arrived, it's all clicked, it's on, you know. If Epinesa can get up to speed, now you got two young guys, one interior, one exterior. That could be really, really dynamic, especially if they're on the same side.
And
You know.
Letulier's back.
And then Lutule, yeah, like, so I don't know what you do. I think you got to get rid of somebody. I think, oh God, who's the other one? They signed Addison. They signed, who's the other? bigger-
Butler,
No,
Jefferson.
Quentin Jefferson, Brennan Butler.
I think Jefferson's gone. I think Butler, I don't know, when he was in there, he did
He looked
okay,
good.
you know,
Yeah.
but it's like you have so many guys that are like middle of the road to like almost upper, a little mid-highs, whatever, that you have this rotation and you just, I couldn't keep track of who was on the field until after the play was over, you know, like, and Butler and who was the other one that just the one that got hurt? That's the younger kid.
Zimmer.
No, shit, I can't remember. It's just like too much to think about right now.
Well, there's a lot of defensive line in there.
But damn it, man.
Yeah, these are going to be the nice conversations we have when we come back in March.
Yeah.
Okay, and to the fans out there, we're 24/7 Buf Fandemonium, so we're going to start right back in March talking about all this stuff. We're not someone that's going to wait till the season starts.
No.
But to start Letulier automatically make that run defense better.
And I don't know if you guys watched
Should.
Epinesa play. He was fast. He
Well,
was
he dropped
fast.
that 25 pounds to be the defensive end that they want him to be to match what Hughes and Addison
Have those
size-wise.
guys in front of him that he can learn from this year. Kind of like that Zoe mentality. Alexander, you know, the linebackers learn from him. The outside linebackers learn from him, and you know, next man up. Unfortunately, it's a business, and they got to let people go, and they got to keep people. And it's fun to try to play coach or GM, but we all know, the three of us know, that what we projected at the beginning of this year kind of was different than what the end of the year ended up roster. Speaking about the roster. So it's always fun to put our 2 cents in to figure stuff out. And it's even better when we're right about something. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Here's a quick question. No players. What are the draft needs right now? If you were drafting tomorrow, what positions are you going for in the first 3 rounds?
Go ahead, Scott.
First 3. I think we need another corner. Whether it's the best one on the board or the fastest one, we need somebody somewhere. Like I said before earlier in the show, we're going to start getting people that can match up to the Chiefs. And don't be surprised if there's a 4-3-4-4 corner still available at pick 30.
You sure the Raiders won't get them first?
Right, but I mean, we have 2 5th rounds and 2 7th rounds this year. We have a bunch of picks, so we can trade up a little bit. And I'll see more of that. I'll bet we'll see more of that come the 3rd round moving up. But I think corner, and I hate to say it, but because we mentioned the defensive ends, I think we might be doing a little bit of that too. So corner and defensive end, I think we're going to fix our offensive run game in the free agency.
Oh yeah.
I think you know you always should get an offensive lineman. I think that's always going to be something. But another cornerback, Taron Johnson, played awesome this year as the nickel. We'll see. Go ahead.
Why was he covering Tyreek Hill the whole game?
It was the game plan.
How come?
Carry on.
How How come White, when he was covering him, couldn't?
Yeah,
like
because
I don't know.
Tyreek Hill is a freak of an athlete.
Yeah, he is, and he's also
He's
an
quick.
asshole. But
Yeah, he also punches people in the tummy when they're pregnant, but we won't talk about that.
No, we won't talk about that. Classier than that. 24/7 BF is way classier than that. So,
What do you think,
I
Swank?
would say corner. I would say we got to get bigger on defense. So I'd say also addressing that line. I like the offensive line thing, even though I love our offensive line as a unit. I don't know if Williams is going to be back, even though I think he should be. I don't know if Feliciano is going to be back, even though I think he also should be. And I don't want him to draft. I don't want him to draft another running back. I think it's a waste of a pick. I think
That's what I'm telling you. I think they'll handle that in the free agency. I do.
And even like a running back by committee thing, like they're trying to do, kind of a la New England Patriots when they were good, when they were relevant. Back like who can remember how long ago that was?
So far.
The other interesting thing I think is tight end. I think Croft is gone. I don't think Knox got to show way more. Knox is not doing what we need him to do currently. I think he was starting to come into his own, and despite himself was playing better, but it didn't matter when it needed to matter. So
right.
This I think is like the biggest make or break season for Dawson Knox if he's even on the roster.
Right.
Going in.
Penn State's got a Kelsey-ish type of tight end over there that's coming into the draft, and he's projected to go about mid-round.
Well, Notre Dame does too, right? Notre Dame has a beast. There's also Henry Hunter on the free agency list. Do we bring an older guy in with
I don't know, like Clay.
There's a lot of stuff to talk about.
Clay was
Sweeney.
great.
Sweeney was a good tight end in Boston 2 years ago.
Yeah, I like.
We drafted him, and he's a big blocker as well. He could be something, but he was hurt this year. So we got people coming back from injury that potentially could save a couple roster spots.
All right, what position's safe, guys?
I think we need to at least hit a quarterback in the second or third round. Just kidding.
Well, Mike Voigt is saying cornerback, pass rusher, and wide receiver for his three choices.
Oh,
and I would say,
Mike,
out of all positions, for me, wide receiver is like a place that we probably don't need any help.
Right. Mike, what kind of wide receiver is he looking for?
Yeah, what are you looking for, buddy? Big
let's
guy, short, fast guy. What is it? Mike also says Hunter is injury prone, which I agree with.
Yeah.
I don't know what the free agents looks like outside of our own going into this year, so that would be something we can reevaluate in a couple of weeks when we come back. But I don't know, man.
But Swank, you're saying definitely bring back Milano.
I think so.
Is he gonna now? For people watching, remember 3-4 defensive linebackers, outside linebacker, are a lot different than the 4-3 that we run. So Milano's not going to make that 15-16 like those sacking machines like T.J. Watt and all that stuff. I think. Do you think he's going to go for under 10, or do you think he's going to be asking for over 10 with his injury prone and not being very productive this year?
I think under. That's my guess, and I think that he wants to stay in Buffalo. Yeah. I think this is where he's made whatever little mark he's made so far.
And you got to play that factor that they just played in the AFC East or AFC Championship game too. If you want to spend money and go money here, then you're on a team that is a contender. So that will play a part.
I'm also thinking some of these signings are really going to depend on whether they keep Leslie or not, too. If Leslie's going to Houston, like it might be a different thing. And wouldn't that be something if Leslie got a head coaching job and Dable didn't this year? He's already said he's not going anywhere. But
well, from Dable, from what I've heard, and this is just hearsay, is he only wanted one job. He only wanted that San Diego job, and when it didn't go his way, he knew he was staying in Buffalo. He's got something special with this offense. So I feel unless there's something that he knows he can be truly successful in, like San Diego and Hubert there, then he's not going to go anywhere. So he might be here for a little bit, depending on what next year brings.
So with McDermott saying something about a run game in his press conference, it will be interesting to see when Dable stays, because he loves throwing the ball. It'll be interesting to see how those two coaches intermingle with one another in regards to the run game during the next season.
Do you think they have to run more, or they just have to be more successful at running the amount they did? Because I think it's the latter. I think that when these running backs get the opportunity, they need to up that average. Another half
Yes.
yard, 2 yard, 3 yards, whatever.
So Swank, in the beginning of the show when I mentioned the running game, I was mostly referring to the running backs. I know per rush our team is not that bad, and as far as the defensive lineman pinning their ears back and going after Josh Allen, when he's the one dropping back and taking off, their focus is on him so they can follow him. By run game, I mean I think we need a running back that is dangerous, that can. Singletary had 88 rushing yards, was the highest game for a running back this whole season. We didn't have one 100-yard rusher, and I think it's a running back thing for me.
All right, so Scott, does Zach Moss take over the number 1 spot next year then?
I think it'll be Singletary, Zach Moss, and look for them to sign a big back. I'm not sure if it's going to be an Ingram, a Fournette, or a Gurley or something like that, but I think with our high potent offensive passing game and the fact that Josh Allen doesn't dump the ball off, look for a power back to come in, like a big power back.
Now listen,
there's one in the draft too. There's Najee Harris.
They just put Antonio Williams on reserve contract, so he's one of those players too.
That'll be one of the things I'm looking for to see what they do in the running back position. Because I'm with you, Spike. I think Singletary's a good running back. He's shifty, but they just need to. Within the tackles, they need something to be established there. So those defensive linemen have to worry about something.
I think when you're looking at Moss and Singletary, and again, I love both of them. I think Moss, since he was a rookie this year, and he's more likely to stick around. I think there's a chance that they get rid of Singletary because even though their body types are not similar, their speed is similar, and Singletary is not considered fast for running back. I mean, he can beat me in a foot race for sure, but him and Moss are both very similar in the fact that they are not considered quick running backs. Shifty, yes, Singletary's shifty. Moss, brolic. He can blow you over and whatever. But if you're going to have a slower running back, you want him to be big and to be able to knock that over. And I'm not saying Motor didn't have his moments, but the way he's built, it would be nice if he could be quicker than he is.
Right. Like a Matt Breida type, right?
Yeah.
Keep an eye on him, guys. He's a free agent as well.
Because he does have good moves. He does break people's ankles, but after you do that, you have to be able to get up the field. So they look nice when he's breaking those tackles, but when that defense is pursuing, if you're not able to get that, takeoff speed up, then you're not
acceleration.
Yeah. And I mean, the biggest one he broke, like the most impressive run he had all year was the Denver game when it was basically garbage time. And not to say the Broncos weren't playing and that it wasn't a great run, but man, you'd like a couple more of those a season than just the one, And I hate it because I like him. I really like him. I like everybody on the team. Yeah. It's really hard to talk about anybody in a negative light. But that also raises the question, why aren't they able to get more yards? Is it because somebody on the O-line isn't doing their job and being able to open those holes?
I saw a stat today, 5th ranked passing offensive line, 29th ranked rushing offensive line.
Yeah.
And I mean, I thought the play calls for the runs I thought they were good. The fact that they did pass a lot and the run game was about 35% throughout the whole season. I thought they picked the right times to run. They just didn't execute it. You know what I mean? There's times when you're like, oh, they're passing again. But then there's times where they would run and be like, oh, I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
They just didn't execute it when they had it. So.
But remember, those runs were for a first down when you weren't expecting it. Mm-hmm. Like Swank was saying, we need somebody that can take a 30, 40-yard touchdown run. We didn't see that, except for that Singletary run. I would like to see a lot of big play runs every once in a while on the Buffalo Bills, and they didn't have many big play runs over 15 yards.
Well, hopefully
unless it was Allen.
Moving into year 4 here with this combo, playbook opened up a little bit more this year. Hopefully it's all the way open next year. Some of those motion plays that Andy Reid draws up with Tyreek Hill and Mahomes, it's just, it doesn't seem like it should be that perplexing. You can see it unfolding. But it's got to be. It's just obviously it works, and they are so tight and execute so well. The same thing with the motion and then doing those little shit underhand passes to Kelsey for the touchdown. They showed highlights of that happening like 5 times this year, and it's like, what do you do against that?
Blocking was perfect for that.
Everything's getting set up perfectly, and that reverse that Hardman took, that was set up perfectly.
Yep.
I think the Bills blitzed the one side and they ran to the other side, and it was like, oh God, he's running down the field. Someone stop him. So everything with a good offensive coordinator is set up from play 1 to the last play of the game.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a big thing too. We need to find a way to get pressure with the front 4. Like that needs to happen, because if you blitz Mahomes, you open him up to do that. He loves doing that. He loves improvising, and that's legitimately, I think, what their whole bread and butter is, because they don't whip out those crazy like cutesy plays until later on in the game, right? It's in the beginning of the game where he has to stand in the pocket and make decisions and whatever. If you are able to get pressure with your front 4 and he doesn't have time to run around like that and you got good coverage, that's the key to getting him, I think. If we've said it a dozen times on this show, the longer you let wide receivers run around while quarterbacks have the ball, they are going to win that matchup 100% of the time. Cornerbacks cannot hang that long. And it gets too hard to tell where you're going. You get a route tree, you've done your studies, you know exactly where he's going, what his tendencies are. You can hang for that 4 or 5 seconds. After that, it's like it's open season, and that's backyard football. That's not professional football. It just works for them. And how can that be your game plan and it works? That's what blew my mind about a lot of that stuff. So I think they gotta get pressure up front. That's been a problem all year. So
bringing J.J. Watt is what you're saying, Swank.
I'm okay with that. I think he'd be a great locker room guy. He's a process guy.
yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. He'd be great in the locker room. All right, guys. Hey, you guys want to make a score prediction for the Kansas City Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl?
Sure. Real quick, where's Deshaun going?
I don't know. Deshaun Watson?
Yeah.
It's tough.
That's gonna be fun. This whole quarterback shell game thing that's going on is gonna be really fun.
Yeah. Jets?
As long as he doesn't go to the Jets or the Patriots.
Yeah, I was thinking Patriots, but did you guys know real quick? Saints are like $38 million over cap, and the Chiefs this year will be $21 million over cap.
Yeah, we play both them teams next year too. So.
All right.
Yeah, Saints will be
bold predictions. Are we going score predictions, Jarrod? Or are we going
Let's just go score. Let's just go score.
PI calls that aren't called for Brady.
Swank, do you have a video? Did you want to play that video?
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it? Okay, not today.
Nope.
All right.
Not today, people.
Not today. Swank, lead the way with this. I know you don't want to watch it, but who do you think is going to win?
437 to 283,000, and the who cares wins.
Okay.
No, I would say it's going to be high scoring. It's going to be 43 to 35, and I don't know. I don't care. One of those two. I can't even say the Chiefs.
Yeah.
I guess the Chiefs.
Yeah, I know it's hard. I know.
I'm going 35-28, pass the torch to Mahomes, 2 Super Bowls in a row.
All right, I'm going KC 47-42 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
There you go.
There you go.
Everybody goes KC.
Everybody went KC.
All right.
Bring it home to the AFC.
Yep, you got it. You got it. All right.
Hey,
We'll see you guys in 4 weeks.
Yeah, we're going to come back. We're going to take a little bit of time off from the K-Gun Report, get our notes together, get prepared for this time of year is fun. Until we get to August, it's going to be draft, free agents, who's going where, what are we doing. So stay tuned for all that stuff. We're going to have fun doing it. Any closing thoughts, Scott?
Cheers to 2020 on the 2021. Let's go Bills. You learn, you live and learn, and hopefully they learned from that wild card game against Texans. Let's learn against the Chiefs and prosper. And we'll be playing in the Super Bowl next year. Let's do it.
Swank.
Yeah, man. It's been a hell of a ride. It's been a great time with you guys. It's been a great time with the Buf fam. I don't know. It was a great season, and I'm not disappointed. Let's do it all again. I think everything's there for us to do it again. I think we're literally like 2 or 3 pieces and a couple plays away from being a legitimate Super Bowl contender. So, again, thank you guys so much for being a part of it this season. We'll start season 2 of the K-Gun Report in 4 Tuesdays from today. And if you want to join in on the conversation, you can 4 Tuesdays from today on Facebook Live at 24/7 Buf Fandemonium, the K-Gun Report. You can also catch up on all 26 episodes. This season we did 26 episodes.
It's half a year.
Yeah. You can catch up on all that on YouTube, on Spotify, in the podcast version, on Apple Podcasts, on Anchor. We're going to come back more. We'd love to hear feedback from you guys as far as what you liked about Season 1 of the K-Gun Report, what you liked about the group and the Facebook page. We have a website that we're going to be dropping here shortly in the next couple weeks, hopefully. And, yeah, any input, anything like that. We still have stickers. You guys are more than welcome to DM us your address, and we will send you them for free. And we got a couple more sticker designs coming out. We also have T-shirts, $20. DM us that. They are sent off to print, so we're getting them printed up. If you pre-ordered them, they will be ready sometime soon, and we'll get those out to you. And yeah, man, thanks for a great fucking year.
Yeah. Yep. Pandemonium. Yeah, definitely thank you for participating all year round. Even on the 24/7 Buf Fandemonium Facebook page, we had a lot of participation. It's always awesome for people to share their opinions. We love it. Keep doing it. The season's not over. And we're going to look forward to coming back a month from now to talk more football with all this fun stuff that's going to go on. The Fandemonium, Bills Mafia, you guys rock. I'm proud to call myself a Bills fan. Didn't end particularly the way we really wanted it, but we had one hell of a ride, and I enjoyed it, and I know a lot of other people did too. So thank you very much. Hey, go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Hey.
This is a dangerous group.